Kara Nichols was killed October 9th, 2012 in Denver, Colorado by a client who was known to have a violent past. Joel Hollendorf was a loving daughter, friend, and sister who enjoyed drawing and spending time with her family and friends. In October of 2012, Kara's family and friends grew weary when she did not return phone calls or even return home after a modeling gig. It literally took a decade to find Kara's body and implicate Joel. Did the Colorado police take this case seriously? Why did it take a decade to finally arrest Joel Hollendorf? Was manslaughter the correct sentence? Hey y'all, hey! I go by Judy and we are here with another SW and True Crime video. I haven't been here in a hot minute, I'm not gonna lie. It's been like 3 months since my latest true crime video, my Leandra Foster case. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out now. But I've really just been taking a lot of, I want to say, like mental health time when it comes to true crime things, and I've also been focusing my energy in more true crime things. So if you haven't checked out my SW and True Crime Reacts, make sure you check that out. I think I'm going to do more Playboy content because I think that world is very interesting and a lot more crime involved, and I didn't even know that. And y'all know I love SW and y'all know I love true crime. Put it together, here I am. So I think I am gonna do more Playboy true crime things, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But other than that, I am back and I'm ready to present y'all with more new and recent true crime cases, because it's a lot out there, y'all. Whew, gosh. I just want to thank y'all so much for all the support on my recent vlogs, my hauls, my SW and True Crime reacts, and the Leandra Foster case. I appreciate y'all so much, and I love y'all. I just want to start by giving my condolences to the family, and I mean absolute no disrespect. This week's case has some mentions of drug abuse and mental health, so if this is something that you don't want to hear or you're not really want to, you know, go into that, I completely understand, and I'll see you in the next video. This may be one of my most shocking cases. I know I say that a lot, but this may really have your jaw dropped, trust me. The information I'm about to state is public information. If you would like to join in the conversation of this case, I've put some of the links below so you can check it out. Again, it is extremely dangerous for everyone, not only S workers. All right, let's get into our next case. Reminder, y'all, I'm doing a fully opinionated yet fact-full approach, so please keep it cute in the comments, okay? Alright, let's go into the next case. Kara Nichols was born May 20th, 1993 to Julia and Paul Nichols in Colorado Springs, Colorado. She grew up with an older brother, Terrence, and a little sister. She was known to be very social and outgoing. Hence, Kara had a lot of friends. She loved art and even took private lessons to further her skills. She even won several community and school art competitions. My girl was talented, okay? She would draw pictures or portraits of models in beautiful gowns. However, like many of us growing up, when she turned 13, she started rebelling. She got arrested, which I'm not sure for what, being that she was a minor, you can't find anything. And she was sentenced to community service. She went to Rampart High in Colorado Springs, but ultimately felt that school wasn't for her. On top of everything else, her sophomore year, her dog died, and this inevitably made her depression even worse. Being that her family was so close, they felt that Kara wasn't her true self. Her parents got her into counseling and tried to put her on medication. And I say tried because she was not doing it. She was not for the adverse side effects, which a lot of people don't. I don't blame them. I was about to say, like, when y'all see the commercials, it says like, oh, well, this medication can help for depression, and then it says, but may cause stomach bleeding, cancer, death. And it's like, yo, I might as well just be sad. So I definitely feel that, because these medications, also working in the research lab with pharmacology and medicines, these I can't even talk. These medications really have some adverse side effects. Okay, literally be like 5 seconds of them smiling and dancing, and then it'll be all these symptoms. But yeah, I truly hate those antidepressant commercials. Truly. The doctors were thinking that she had bipolar depression or BPD. Eventually, Kara started experimenting with drugs like heroin. This made her parents take her out of school and put her into an alternative school. Y'all, and it's just like, wow, it made me think that drugs are so common in Colorado. I know several other young individuals that are in that area or grew up in the area that got addicted to like heroin and meth and like hard drugs like that. Like, what is going on in Colorado? Anyway, Kara loved her new school, Life Skills at Colorado Springs. She eventually graduated and got a job as a waitress, but her dream was ultimately to become a model. In 2012, her parents moved to Chicago, Illinois, and Kara decided it was best. She needed a new change, so she decided to move with them. However, Kara was still using drugs during this time, so her parents decided to enroll her into a rehab program in Chicago. But Kara didn't stay. Kara was unfortunately being kicked out of the program for breaking some of the rules. Then made the choice to go back to Colorado Springs, being that her older brother was still there. Her parents were honestly against it, but Kara was a fully grown individual. I believe she was 19, so they honestly could not hold her back. She moved into an apartment with 3 males. It was definitely given a new girl situation, the show. But really and truly, her parents were very much against it. Like, a woman living with 3 other males, I can honestly see why her parents were skeptical, especially with her being young. Not even being young, but in this misogynistic era of America we're living in. Not even era, because it's been like that. But anyway, after various interactions, the parents end up feeling a bit at ease because, they felt like they were nice and harmless. My girl Kara was a go-getter, and she pursued everything and anything she had in her heart to do. So she began to post on Model Mayhem to get modeling gigs at the same time as she was waitressing part-time. Here's a snippet from Kara's Model Mayhem's bio, which she describes herself. My name is Kara, and I'm 19 years old. I've been modeling since 2012 February, and although I'm new to it, modeling is something I am very passionate about, and I take my work very seriously. Currently, I'm working on building my portfolio, so I'm always looking for modeling opportunities in my area. I've done mostly lingerie shoots so far, but I'm extremely open-minded and willing to work with you on ideas for shoots. So contact me if you're interested in working with me. Ending with, note to photographers, due to my financial situation, I am mainly focused on paid work. I am still open for TF shoots, but paid work takes priority for now. Please contact me for serious requests only. We all know that modeling can be expensive. From portfolios to shoots to makeup, you have to have bank, at least to be seen in the smallest of sceneries, like in the smallest of rooms. I know it's honestly quite classist if we're being real. I believe this is why she began to do full service S work on the side as well. With that being said, Kara began to have financial issues and began relying on her roommates for food and other things. On October 9th, 2012, Kara told one of her roommates she was going to go to Denver, Colorado for a modeling gig. She was really excited about it, really thrilled, and she literally told everybody about it. I'm not sure was it from like pure happiness or for safety reasons, but it honestly works out in the end. Well, you'll see. Kara did not have a driver's license at that time, so she had to depend on others for a ride. Kara told her roommates that a friend was picking her up to take her to the modeling gig. She got ready and she left her home on Mission Road in Colorado in a dark colored sedan, thanks to her roommate who looked out the window. So Kara heads to Denver on October 9th, but to never be seen again. The last phone call from her cell phone was at 11:45, and it was to her older brother Terrence. The next day, October 10th, Terrence tried to call his sister to check on her because they literally talk almost every day, and to no avail, he got the answering machine. He panicked a little bit, but honestly figured she would call him back whenever she was free. And to be honest, my brother would do the same thing. Brothers are so relaxed, yet at the same time, you know what I mean? Okay. On October 11th, Terrence decided to pay the roommates a visit and to check on Kara's room to see can he find anything that may give him a clue of where she actually went. The roommates told Terrence that they haven't seen her since October 9th, literally the same day that he last spoken. They also gave the brothers of the detail of the car that they saw. Terrence immediately goes in Kara's room to investigate on her whereabouts. He found her phone charger, her laptop charger, her professional makeup case, $300, and her wallet. He rightfully panicked. These were all items that were very vital to Kara. If she would be skipping town or going out for any reason, she would need these items. Reporting everything to the police. Talk Around Town has speculated that Kara had traveled to Denver with 2 other women, but their names were unknown. Law enforcers apparently interviewed one and were on the lookout for the other. Up to this time, Julia, Kara's mother, told the station, "We were reluctant to portray our daughter as just a no-good person that no one should care about." And I feel like she was saying that because you know how people portray S-workers. Not even S-workers, but also people that have a history with drugs, you know? Anyway. She also stated, "She's our daughter. We love her dearly." You know the media loves digging up people's past about important details, hence why I mentioned that earlier. Her father, Paul, told police, and police specifically at the time, that Kara was still dibbling and dabbling with heroin and just fully had got out of rehab. I honestly think he told police that in just fear of just maybe she was relapsing and hopefully it was that and not something more serious. Kara's mother was also fearful that the media may get a hold of her being an S-worker, which you know how the media can pick up stories and run with them. Makes everybody else in the world don't want to look for you, which sucks. She wanted it under wraps, rightfully so Kara could be found without complications. Sad to say, Kara was presumed missing for over a decade. NCMEC, or National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, other helpful organizations were all helping, publicizing, volunteering, everything in regards to Kara's behalf with Kara's family.
Nearly 2 months after she was last seen here near her home on Mission Road in Colorado Springs, the massive search for 19-year-old Kara Nichols continues.
Unfortunately, we haven't gained all of the answers that we need to, with the real pending question being, where is Kara Nichols and what has happened to her since October 9th? There have been some postings that came up on different websites which had some pictures of her. One of those was an escort-related type website, and the date of those postings was well after her disappearance. One of those was late in October. Another one was, I believe, even in the month of November.
So I deleted this next section on accident, so it will be a voiceover. Sorry. Okay, y'all, so let's go over the details via the police records. According to the affidavit, Paul Nichols reported his daughter missing to the deputy with the El Paso County Sheriff on October 14th, 2012, which is approximately 5 days after she went missing. He went on to say about the events that Terrence did and about checking the well-being and also her surroundings at her apartment. A missing persons alert was then put out for Kara by El Paso Police. Detective Gugliotta was originally assigned on the case February 4th, 2013. So it took them about 4 months for them to seriously get on the case. Anyway, they found an S-worker ad that Kara had posted on October 9th at 7:28 p.m. It was revealed that she made 8 calls between 9:58 p.m. and 11:08 p.m. and that she last used her phone at 11:59, which we know was the text to her brother. They needed to investigate further on who she was in contact with last. On May 8th, 2013, 7 freaking months later, y'all, Detective Gugliotta received a return call from a man identifying himself as Joel Hollendorfer. When asked did he speak with Kara the night of October 9th, he said yes, but he never met with her because she was doing out calls and he was looking for in calls only. He went on to say that they never even met that night. Cap. An investigations volunteer, Mark Oldfeld, was able to track Kara's phone movements the night of October 9th to its last known usage in the early hours of October 10th, 2012. They ended up tracking her phone, and guess where they found her phone at, y'all? Joel Hollendorfer's parents' house. Ain't that crazy? So they go to Joel Hollendorfer's parents' house, and his mother, Betty, cooperates immediately and showed them around where the farm and where they bury their dead animals. And to no avail, they found absolutely nothing. During an interview on October 21st, 2014, Joel confirmed looking up Kara, but still said he never met with her and she never entered his vehicle. Now, why would he say that? Like, yes, she did then. During the initial investigation, Detective Gugliotta attempted to reach Joel's wife, Christina, but she didn't cooperate. But on February 1st, 2022, yes, February 1st, 2022, Christina tells police that after Joel's father, John, died in 2014, he admitted to her that he accidentally killed an escort and buried her body on top of the old family horse, Milo. On February 3rd, 2022, the El Paso County began to search the property, and they did indeed find human remains.
Sitting silently for nearly 10 years off of Burgess Road in Black Forest, the possible answer to a case gone cold.
A search warrant was obtained. That search led to the recovery of female human remains.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Department believes they found the remains of 19-year-old Kara Nichols.
A cold case review was recently being conducted on this case, as we do with all our cold cases, and a witness in this case was located and re-interviewed. There was critical information given in that interview which provided a significant new lead.
46-year-old Joel Hollendorfer is being held on a $50,000 bond.
So who is this Joel Hollendorf? Other than a messy killer and a predator, Joel Hollendorf is an El Paso native who currently lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado, literally 15 miles from where Kara was last seen alive. Born to Betty and Joel Hollendorf in 1976 or 1977, I couldn't really see, who still had a farm in Colorado. We can assume that his parents and him were very close, hence why they covered up for him, or, you know, just had some type of guilt going on. We really don't know. I couldn't find much. Joel had recently split from his wife and mother of his 2 children, Christina, at the time of Kara's disappearance, according to the social media posts. Records show Joel had a history with domestic violence. He had multiple domestic abuse charges involving his ex-wife. Joel also had been accused and convicted of harassment and protection order violations numerous times in 2012 and 13, indicating he is very, very capable of extreme violence. Other than this, I could not find anything else about him or his past. We can just automatically see that he is very violent and has a ill temper just from his criminal past. Not even trying to say if you have a criminal past you're violent. No, like the type of charges this man had. Harassment, protection order violations. It means it's giving, I'ma still stalk you, I'ma still harass you even though you call the police. I don't care. Joel had a history with drugs and frequenting escorts. Hence why I believe why him and his ex-wife divorced, other than the domestic violence. So back to the case at hand. Of course, Joel pleads not guilty to all the charges. The El Paso coroner ruled that Kara's cause of death was strangulation. Well, primarily strangulation.
Medical examiner Dr. Leon Kelly performed the autopsy on Kara Nichols' remains, revealing that most of the scientific evidence pointing to an official cause of death was lost to time. In fact, her remains were so decomposed by the time she was found, investigators will not be able to scientifically prove that Nichols died of strangulation, but the coroner's office released strangulation as her official cause of death because someone close to her, accused killer, said he admitted to killing her that way. The coroner also reported that her brain, liver, and muscle tissue tested positive for morphine and codeine, pointing to possible heroin intoxication at the time of her death, something her family says should not get in the way of Kara's right to justice.
Joel's defense team's argument throughout the whole preliminary hearing was that Kara's death was not a homicide, but simply an accident, caused either by choking during sex or drugs. Not them trying to pull an Ed Buck. Ed Buck and them have a meeting? Like, did they have the same lawyer? He also testified that someone intoxicated with that significant amount of heroin in their system would potentially be more likely to die of basic strangulation, whereas a healthy person would not. And that Kara had a potential lethal amount of heroin in her system. It's baffling to me that we're talking about basic strangulation of a drugged person versus a healthy person. Like, we're talking about George Floyd all over again. Like, it's just so many cracks and flaws in the system. Like, what's basic strangulation? How do you know if somebody can withstand that amount of pressure? Does he have a gauge on his hand to know, like, I need to let up? Huh? On February 23rd, 2022, the motion to revoke bail was granted and the charge of first-degree murder was applied to his charges. Y'all know how court can be long and drawn out. His arraignment and plea court hearing was on January 11th, 2023, where he pleaded not guilty of first-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence. If convicted of first-degree murder, Joel will face a mandatory sentence of life according to Colorado law. Another hearing was scheduled on April 5th, 2022 to discuss various motions. Kara's parents and family were present for all of the court hearings as well as the Zoom hearings to make sure that their daughter and sister and family member got justice. Joel remained without bail behind bars until the scheduled hearing on June 12th, 2023. And I'm like, June 12th? I thought they said January. That's how you know how much they just keep pushing stuff back. The jury of 8 women and 4 men returned the verdict after deliberating for 5 hours, with the case being handed to the jury at around noon. They found Joel Hollendorf guilty of manslaughter in the cold case of Kara Nichols. Yes, I only said manslaughter, which is absolutely nuts to me. Sick. His defense attorneys basically argued throughout the trial that Kara's death was simply an accident, caused in large by a heroin overdose or accidental choking during sex, being that she was unable to breathe because she was high. So what happened to the tampering with physical evidence charge? The second charge, tampering with physical evidence, was dismissed by Bain by the judge. Well, Bain is the judge. At the start of Thursday's proceedings, being that the statute of limitations had ran out. I truly hate the statute of freaking limitations. Like, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter if it happened after this time. Like, huh? It still happened. Sometimes people wait. Like this person. Like, I feel like Joel waited till the statute of limitations ran out. He literally hid this stuff. Honestly, his parents hid it too, if we being real. And the wife. Joel will return to court on July 24th. So in 2 weeks, I believe. Or sometime at the end of the year, you know how court is. For a habitual offender hearing, which will provide clarity on his sentence. His sentence will be determined later this year. But a class 4 felony of manslaughter carries a 2 to 6 year sentence in the state of Colorado. Kara Nichols' parents spoke at length about the absolutely despicable. It's mind-blowing to me at Bain, which is the judge's decision to count out multiple arguments that would have automatically got Joel life in prison. So Bain striked some testimonies at trial. They also striked Joel's previous criminal history, which Kara's parents felt like that automatically would have led the jury to keep the charges where it was. Like I mentioned previously, Joel was convicted of harassment and of domestic violence. And on top of that, he was convicted of theft and burglary charges in 1996. FBI Special Agent Mark Willis spoke on the strained relationship with him and Christina, but ultimately it was struck from the record after it was ruled to be outside of the scope, which I don't get how that's outside. If he's showing you that he's violent, this is a violent crime. Okay? Yeah. After Bain moved to strike the testimony, the defense moved for a mistrial, claiming that the jury would no longer be impartial. Thank the good heavens, Bain disagreed and decided to move forward with the case. Prosecutor Rachel Powell, during closing arguments, attempted and tried to let the jury be aware that Joel tried to contact his ex-wife and got increasingly angry and decided to take it out on an escort. They stated that the actions of Joel weren't the actions of somebody that just witnessed somebody die of a drug overdose, but rather the actions of someone who just committed murder. Her lawyer said this at the trial, but honestly, I feel like he purposely killed Kara, hid her on top of the family horse, and hid it for a decade. Purposely, like, probably put fear in his ex-wife or wife at the time to not say anything. We don't know. He probably could even bullied his parents to not say something. And then chose not to tell law enforcement that he knew everything. If it was accidental, why do all of this, Joel? Not only did the prosecutor state this, but Kara's father also stated this. They treated my daughter. The prosecutor said they treated Kara like trash. This is so sick to me, literally. Just 19.
A jury found Joel Hollendorfer guilty of manslaughter in the death of 19-year-old Kara Nichols.
Are devastated at this verdict. Absolutely devastated. Dumbfounded. We do not understand it. We're looking at 2 to 6 years, probably 2 years because of this justice system here. He's already served 1.5 years in prison. That means he'll be out in just a few months. Lock up your children. Lock up your women. This place is a disaster.
As usual, I will offer my tips as someone who's been in the industry for about 3 years now, but also just my tips of just being a super hyper vigilant, always aware person. For starters, please be very attentive and aware of your surroundings. In this case, her roommates as well as her family knew her whereabouts, so they could easily get this information to the police. To add on this point, always share your location with a family, friend, or loved one. So if you have an iPhone, they have Track Your iPhone. I'm pretty sure Androids have a tracker. But I honestly feel like it's best to be safe than sorry these days, honestly. Next, try to do a background check or ask around about your clients. There are so many sites out there that allow you to put reviews of your clients and check reviews. Twitter is also a great place, and Reddit, I believe, is also a great place as well. For non-S workers out there watching, my best advice would be to set healthy boundaries and not to feel entitled to people's bodies just because you're supporting them financially or getting a service from them. Also, please document or report when a client is being inappropriate. The police may not be always on our side, but even if you have to tell a homegirl, tell somebody, homeboy, tell someone, even write it in your notes if you have to. It's best to just keep a track of everything. Also, I would recommend that you have some type of protection on you at all times. If you are not in a legal carry state, then I recommend you go to Amazon or any type of store. Walmart, they have like different protection things. My mom always tells me like you can go to the fish aisle and get you a little fish knife. You can literally find anything. I love the little portable things that you can find on Amazon that you got on your keys. They have like the little kitty claws and like little knife things. They have so much protection on Amazon that you can get to feel safe and protected. Lastly, I would invest in a tracker or an AirTag of some type to put on you when you do out calls, especially in these times of days. I mentioned the Track My iPhone feature, which is amazing, but unfortunately when your iPhone is open, you can disable this feature if they have access to, you're still right there. However, I believe the new update does have it where if your phone is off, they still can find your iPhone to a T, which I believe is like probably one of the best things they could have done. As for this case, I mentioned previously the trial that happened earlier. I am still blown away at it just being just manslaughter. It's completely blown away to me. I don't get how it didn't have any type of degree of murder. 2 to 6 years, y'all. Like for a man as violent and devious and heinous as this to be out in 2 to 6 years, crazy. Researching this case, there was a lot more information than usual. Kara's family did an amazing job compiling all of the information and updating her Facebook, which is full of just like articles and just a great compilation of all the correct information on this case, as well as ways you can help. Speaking of, I believe the family is still taking donations. All donations are 100% tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law. To make a donation, check out the description below. I'll be linking her family's Facebook, Justice for Kara. I like to note that her family did not want the public to talk about Kara's, life and S work, and I 100% agree. As soon as you put that S work label, it's like nobody cares to find you. Like they're like, well, you put yourself in a situation like that, and it's like, I'm still a person. And literally, the case was called the Teen Escort because she was literally only 19, y'all. 19 years young. Yeah, 19. Can you imagine being 19 and full of life? I honestly truly believe that Hollendorf, Joel was upset that his ex-wife wasn't answering. She was ignoring him. She was done with him. And he wanted to take it out on somebody. Regardless if Kara was high on heroin or not, it doesn't even matter. He strangled her. He took it out on a defenseless S worker. It didn't matter if it was Kara or Sarah or Michelle, Nicole, Candy. It don't matter. He took it out on a defenseless S worker, and it happened to be Kara Nichols. Kara, I hope you are truly, truly at peace, and I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me at S Work and True Crime. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on this case. This one, like I said, might have your jaw drop. Pick it up right now, okay? But yeah, I'll be seeing y'all in my vlogs and in my SW and True Crime reacts and everything else. And until then, stay safe and see y'all next time. Bye.